Hello everyone, I'm back. I'm finally back. I was sick this whole week, as you could tell. Maybe my voice sounds a bit different. That's because I have a stuffed nose and I've been coughing a lot this whole week and I've been lightheaded. And yeah, I still went to school and work, so it's been a tough week for me. So, without further ado, here is the fifth number in this list and the fifth movie. And who else can I not talk about? I gotta talk about this director. I gotta say his movies. Pretty much, I think every single movie he's directed is on this list. So, this is the first one I'm going to be talking about, and it's, of course, Christopher Nolan's Inception. Inception was a path-breaking movie, in my opinion, in certain ways. It's kind of playing off the already played-off idea of what is real, what is not real. Are we in a reality where it is fabricated, or are we in a reality that is actually reality? What kind of makes Inception more better than, like, say, those types of movies is that it's playing off the idea of dreams. Now, dreams always feel real, as Leonardo DiCaprio's character of Don Cobb says. Dreams feel so real that when we wake up, we know that something strange was happening. And the thing that amazes me is that, in your dreams, you always have these kinds of, like, different landscapes and, like, the different things happen and you feel, like, as if it is reality. And sometimes, some people think that the dreams do come true. And I think that it kind of plays off the idea of Inception in a way. I know, I'm kind of confusing myself right now. But, yeah, so the story about this movie is, of course, if you haven't seen it before, go see it. It's about a guy by the name of Cobb. He's this dream heist guy who works alongside Arthur, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and I forgot the other guy's name. It was Lucas Hawes who played the other. I forgot what the character is supposed to be. The architect. He's the architect, and I don't know his actual name in the movie. But those three, alongside like whoever that they are hired by, they go into dreams and they implant ideas, or they kind of steal something from it, kind of like robbers. So when Saito, played by Ken Watanabe, wants to instill an idea into Fisher, played by Cillian Murphy, it is supposedly the hardest thing to do because it's called Inception. Is placing an idea without getting caught and making sure that that idea will grow into something that will change the man's life. And I can't really talk more about the movie because there's so much more to it than just that slight, overview. You have your conscience being attacked, his conscience being attacked by his ex-wife, played by Marion Cotillard, Maul. And in this film, there's so much. People kind of say that this film's a bit overrated. I kind of understand why people would say that. People, when they first saw the movie, they're like, oh, it's one of the greatest movies of all time. It's so unique, so extravagant, and it touches on every kind of human level possible. It is an excellent movie. I would say, compared to usual summer blockbusters, this is probably one of the best summer blockbusters in the last 20 years, and probably in all-time history, because it's not a unique kind of idea where we're thinking about what is real, what is not real. But it plays on the way of how dreams work and how the outside world kind of affects your dream as well. And going inside that dream, within a dream, and it gets confusing, and then, people just go crazy, and then it's an awesome movie. I can't tell you more about it. Christopher Nolan is a genius, obviously. You cannot tell me that Christopher Nolan's a bad director. The man knows his craft. He knows what to do with the script. He knows which characters and which actors should be in the movie. Leonardo DiCaprio is one of the most... what's a good word? He's a really great actor. I think that a lot of people say that he kind of plays off the same kind of character all the time, but just changes up the appearance and maybe the voice a bit. I kind of see why people would say that, because the only movie where I've seen his voice actually change a lot would be maybe Blood Diamond. But this movie, you kind of feel for his character. You know, he wants to see his kids so badly. He wants to go back to America, but he's always getting challenged by the memories of his wife. You know, he's getting challenged by Ellen Page's character of what's her name? God, I need to watch this movie again. I forgot the characters' names. But yeah, he's always getting questioned by her. And then you have Arthur kind of like questioning him and his ideals and motives. And then, you know, all these things are happening around him. He's pretty much the heart of the story. I'd say that, you know, there's always a heart in action films. Even if they're all about explosions, all about like action, there's always some point where you kind of look at and you can say that, you know, altogether the story is about this one man, and Don Cobb is pretty much this whole story. He's trying to go back to his family. He's trying to lead a normal life, and pretty much he has to do this last job to kind of just say, okay, this is my one-way ticket to freedom. Sorry, I'm still kind of sick. But yeah, Tom Hardy steals the show as the guy who changes his physical appearance in the dreams. He is so funny and so like sly and very, you know, sarcastic kind of humor. I love that kind of humor. And I love that this movie kind of like, when you see Inception, then you see Dark Knight Rises, you see that two different versions of Hardy. You see the brutality, you know, the huge, I'll beat the shit out of you if you look at me in Bane. And then you look at this movie, you're like, wow, you really wouldn't even think that he can go into that kind of mode of acting, but you know, he plays a really good job. Ken Watanabe is a really great actor as well. He's one of the most underrated actors in my opinion. He does also a really amazing job. Ellen Page, okay, I gotta admit, I have a crush on Ellen Page. She's, I don't know, she's like a better version of Kristen Stewart. Like, they're both kind of those kind of actresses where they use facial expressions that are, you know, minimal, and they usually try to do how could I say, vocal acting. And that's what I kind of think, you know. If there are vocal actors, like voice actors for animation movies, I think they'll be perfect. But when you see them visually, you're always seeing them as like this one face, you know, that kind of crunched up, you know, what are we gonna do right now? Kind of like that kind of acting, you know. It kind of gets boring at times, but in this movie, you kind of see that it works for Ellen Page's kind of acting. She's a really great actress, though. If you've seen her in other movies like Hard Candy, you kind of know that this girl has some range. And in this movie, she's also this kind of... sorry. She's also kind of like the audience in a way. She's seeing what's happening around her. She's a first-timer in the Inception game. And she's kind of like learning the things along with us. Arthur, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, also... I would say this is not his strongest of the Christopher Nolan movies that he's done. Dark Knight Rises, he did a lot better job. But in this movie, he's kind of like the guy who's like the action kind of character. He's just put in there for the action kind of scenes. I liked his character, but I wouldn't say it was a really great performance. I would say it was overshadowed by most of the other actors and the actresses in the film. And Cillian Murphy... I think Cillian Murphy did also an amazing job. I think he's another underrated actor who's always in these movies. He always does a great job, but no one really recognizes him. And he's kind of the emotional centerpiece in this movie, along with Cobb, who's going through this emotional turmoil of having to, you know, fight his way back to America. Fisher has a problem with his dad, and he's pretty much having emotional turmoil with his father, and he's kind of just going through all these emotions, and it just goes crazy. What I really like about Inception is that it knows that it is a smart kind of idea. It's an original idea based upon things that have already done before. And it plays off of the originality in such a nice and beautiful way. It feels like we've seen this movie before, but it feels fresh in our minds. And the great thing about Inception is that it has some great drama scenes and also great action scenes. I'd say the train sequence where the train just automatically, like, from nowhere, just starts going through the street is an amazing sequence. I love the beginning scene where Maul infiltrates the dream and then shoots Arthur in the leg. I like that scene where when DiCaprio's character is falling into the bathtub and then the water comes inside the dream as well. I love that scene as well. And I'd say, the ending, I kind of feel like in the beginning it was like, oh, it was awesome. Oh, maybe he was in a dream all along. Maybe he wasn't in reality. But now when I see it, it's kind of like cheesy. It's like, what? Why can't you just say that he was in a dream? Even if he was in a dream, just show it. Just show the thing topple down and then shock the audiences. But, Christopher Nolan is a great director. I love his work. I don't care how much times I've seen this movie. I think I've seen it 100 times. That my Blu-ray disc actually has scratches on it. I never replay my discs that badly, but I've watched this movie so much times. Yes, there are some plot holes, and I don't want to discuss about plot holes because people start talking about, this kind of explains this and that kind of explains that. I understand. It's not really big plot holes that kind of destroy the whole movie's motion and fluidity. Fluidity? Is that even a word? I don't know. But, so there's Inception for you. If you love this movie, please comment, like the video, subscribe, do whatever you can. And, so that's number 5 on this list. And I'm too sick to say anything else. So I hope you guys like this movie and have a good dream after it as well. See you later.